What's going on, everybody? My name is Justice. I'm with my guy,
What's poppin'? It's your boy Tyaire. How y'all doing?
and you're tuned into the Silky Boys podcast, the Wiggy's podcast out for your sports needs and what's going on in the culture. Tyre, how you feeling this week, my boy?
I'm feeling good, bro. How you feeling?
Feeling good too. A little bit tired, just trying to get back into this work schedule. You know what I mean? But other than that, I'm feeling good. And going to this week, we got a few worthy NBA news headlines. So let's get right into it. First off, I gotta just say this: James Harden is a certified pandemic boy, bro. Certified. Because over this past week, he did not care what anybody thought. He was just doing himself and could not care less. So, if you don't know, NBA training camp started this past week. So, all teams were supposed to report to the practice facilities, began practicing, including all-star players. James Harden wasn't one of those. He decided to go to his best friend's birthday party, aka Lil Baby. He went to the ice ball, spent over $250,000 on him, gave him a Prada bag because he was proud of him, a honey bun full of honey buns, and gave him a honey bun on top of that, which is nuts in itself. He told the Rockets facility, "Hey, I'm gonna be there soon." What the hell does soon mean? Because immediately following Lil Baby's ice ball party, he flew out to Nevada and went to the strip club. And it's not like he was trying to be low key about it because he was just there standing tall, the only dude about 6'5" with a mohawk and a beard the way that he has. It's like, you're not trying to keep it low, Harden. Like, what is you out here doing right now? So, if you're James Harden's teammate, if you're John Wall, if you're DeMarcus Cousins, like, how are you just looking at this? How are you feeling about all of this, knowing that, like, hey, we're here in practice trying to get better because this is an opportunity, especially for John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins, and we don't know if we're gonna have James Harden to start the season right
First of all, bro, James Harden is public enemy number one right now in the NBA. He's the most wanted man in the NBA right now. The Houston Rockets have an APB out on him. We don't know where he currently is located. He's like you said, bro, he's been posting a lot of cryptic stuff online. He just posted that picture with him and his Adidas fit that was just an all neutral fit. It didn't have any team colors, hinting that he wanted to go somewhere. And we're getting reports today that he might want to be going to the Bucks or the Heat. So it's just like, as of right now, if I'm John Wall and I'm Boogie Cousins, I'm just looking at it as like, I'm just focused on my fresh start, bro. Like, who would have ever thought that we would actually see a team with John Wall and Boogie Cousins on the same team in the NBA? Like, think about that. Like, if we really think back to 2010, we wouldn't even think about that even being a thing. And here we are right now. So if I'm them, I'm just focused on a comeback. If Harden is there at the beginning of the season, he's there. If not, regardless, you're gonna get some talent off of the back end if there is a trade. So if I'm those two guys, I'm just really focused on me and rebuilding my career and bouncing back.
now. Right. And like you said, Harden right now is public enemy number one. Like, this is looking bad on him on so many different levels because on one hand he's trying to get traded, but if other teams are looking at this right now. Like, other teams and players are looking at this saying, "Hey, do we really want this guy in our locker room because he doesn't want to he hasn't gotten his way because he has not been traded yet?" Like, that goes a long way for some teams, and just to see the way that you're acting, it gets to the point where it's like, yo, you're kind of acting like a brat right now because, like, yes, you're allowed to voice your opinion. You're allowed to ask for a trade. You're allowed to do all those things in order to try to facilitate yourself into a better move for yourself, into getting into a better situation. But it comes to a point where you just gotta stand up and be a man about it. Like, okay, I need to take care of my responsibilities right now. And, like, that's where I personally get frustrated with him because, like, dog, you're earning $50 million right now to play on this team, dog. And now you want to be upset. And this is a team that has catered to every single one of your requests over the past 3 years. You wanted to get Chris Paul, they got Chris Paul. You wanted to get Westbrook, they got Westbrook. You said that you had a preference of getting over of John Wall over Westbrook. They made that happen 2 weeks ago. They are literally doing everything for you right now. But you're out here again, just being a pandemic boy, not really caring about the situation, like, and what's going on. It's like, man, what are you doing? Like, and it goes back to like what we said the other podcast ago. It's like, man, like, you're kind of the problem. Like, no one else around you. It's not the coach. It's not the owner. Like, you have to take a look in the mirror and say to yourself, like, hey, maybe I'm the one messing up right now. And that leads us into another player that we've talked about on this podcast by name of Paul George. And with his comments earlier this week, basically not accepting responsibility of himself, saying that Doc Rivers didn't put him in positions to succeed, which is just flat out blasphemous. And it's just ridiculous because Doc Rivers isn't the one that shot a baseline three and hit the side of the backboard. He's not the one that was out there in crunch time and pick and rolls and losing the ball, turn the ball over, missing pull-up threes here and there during the bubble. It's like, fam, like, you got to take a look in the mirror and realize, like, hey, maybe I'm the one that's screwing up and not everybody else.
He cheated on his daughter, man. Like
you're the problem, man.
You're a horrible person, bro.
It's a horrible person, but the fact that he got an extension, $190 million extension from the Clippers, fam, what? And right after he got that back, he says, nah, I'm back with my trainer that I was with when I was in OKC, when I had my MVP season. I'm coming for motherfuckers' asses. Fam, you're doing a whole lot of talking right now, and based off your performance in the bubble, it's not looking good right now, especially with those comments at Doc. Like, just what are you doing right now, Paul George? What was your take from it? Just everything.
My take is he's been screaming a lot of. I heard him speak. I heard a quote he said earlier this week. He was like, "I want to retire as a Clipper," and I was like, "Okay, you might want to retire as a Clipper, but Kawhi's giving you a season or two at max, and Kawhi is out of here. So like, you can." When I saw that extension, I'm like, okay, cool. He can just be Paul George on the bum Clippers once Kawhi leaves, because if they don't make it work after for at least a season or two, Kawhi's out of here. So that's how I'm looking at it right now. Like, he can talk all he wants, but come December, come 2 weeks, if he not balling, it's gonna be quiet for his career, bro.
It's gonna be quiet, and the thing is, like, these segments, those comments that he made are gonna be brought right back up if he does start to struggle, like you said in the beginning of the season, or if the Clippers fail to execute in the playoffs like we imagine it to be. Because, like, let's be real, like, do we like it's realistic for the Clippers to be bounced in the second round again? Like, that's really in play right now. Like, despite everything that's happened, despite the moves that they made, like, honestly speaking, like, do you think like this Clipper roster is really that much better from last year's? Not really. And they still might make some more moves. Like, Lou Williams is still kind of on the train block. He might go at any point right now. So I don't know, man. Like, we'll see what happens. But like Paul George, and like this is just also just a message to like some NBA players. It's like, fam, again, look at the mirror, bro. Just understand who you are. And once you get a grip on that, then you can start to talk, and then you can start to actually become a better player. But until that happens, like, no, just no.
Hey man, the Clippers might be coming with a different energy this year, bro. Kawhi got the dreads. Kawhi finally switched up the hairstyle for the first time in 27 years, bro. So
in his entire life.
right. So it's like, hey, bro. But off of the Kawhi situation, bro, I just want to have you been catching LeBron's little like media run over the past few weeks, bro?
I don't pay attention to LeBron media runs. Like, I'll be real, but like, I already know what you're alluding to right now, so we can talk about it.
All right, bro. How do you feel about the comments he said that his past two championships are the hardest championships of all time, bro?
Wait, he said that?
Yeah, he said his past two championships are the hardest championships of all time.
Okay, so past two championships, came back from being down 3-1 against Golden State. This year, won his first title with the Lakers. Had Anthony Davis as his teammate. Never played.
Wait. Coming off, speaking of Anthony Davis, the NBA's top list just came out. Number 1 on the list, LeBron James. Number 2, Anthony Davis. So that's who his teammate was on the last one. So back to you.
That's who his teammate was. So I can kind of see where he's coming from on this last championship because you say, hey, it's a bubble. I was away from my family. You know, I'm sure as a father that obviously has that puts strain on him. So I can understand it from that standpoint. But from a basketball standpoint, the two hardest championships ever. I'm not gonna be one to say those are the hardest two ever. Not that.
It's my thing is, bro, I can't jack you having the hardest championship ever. Like I said, when the NBA's top list comes out and your teammate is the second best player on the list and you're number 1, bro. So you already have that advantage coming into the series, whatever series you play. And then the team you play against, their best scorer gets injured. He's out for the whole series. And then their best player gets injured the first game as well. So that's not really a tough championship. Yes, it has difficult circumstances, but as far as a difficult championship, there were way harder championships that were won in NBA history. I could think about the 04 Pistons who beat the Lakers, who had Shaq, Kobe, Gary Payton, Karl, like all those type of dudes. The 2011 Mavericks that won against you, who beat Russell, KD, Harden, Kobe, LeBron. Like, come on, bro. Like, those are way harder championships that were won than 2 championships that you won that had a lot of iffy circumstances around it. Like, we still don't talk about Steph Curry coming off a strained, damn near torn ACL in that playoff series leading up to that finals. So, like, it's a lot of circumstances we don't talk about. So you can't just say it's the hardest ever, bro. Like, it was mad hard championships that were out there.
Right. And like I find the issue of just like when certain players they do this thing of just, especially with LeBron, because LeBron always does this. He always paints the narrative for himself rather than letting us basketball fans paint the narrative in order to push the narrative. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like right after he won that championship, right after he won the championship with the Lakers this year, came out and said, I want my damn respect. Like, fam, you're already regarded as one of the greatest basketball players ever in the world. Like, people respect you on a basketball level. The only reason why people disrespect you or people clown you is for your antics off the court, like you're doing right now. Like, this is the reason why we talk about you in the way that we do, and this is the same reason why you're not in that GOAT conversation, because of it's the little things that go beyond just basketball. Again, you're one of the most influential players of all time. But again, it goes back to just the little things off the court, how you present yourself and your persona off the court and do all these things and where you stand and you commenting about like your all-time rankings and stuff like that. Like, guys weren't doing that back in the day. Like, guys who always they let the play do the talking for themselves. And then we as fans were able to digest it, process it, and actually be able to give our opinions about it.
Like, I get on one aspect what LeBron did for his life, him as being a successful businessman, saying, hey, I want to change the old way how media portrayed athletes, and I want to, change the story, allow for me to tell the story, have my own media companies and stuff like that. Like, I get it, but you trying to persuade every different storyline to be about this GOAT conversation that you say, it's when he says he doesn't care about it and then continuously to talk about it for the next 3 months. That's when I have an issue with it. When he says, oh, I don't care, I don't get caught up in that type of talk, and then you get caught up in the type of talk for the next 3 months, bro.
And like, fam, like years ago, he came out and said, I'm chasing the GOATs that wore 23 in Chicago. If you didn't care at all, that wouldn't even been a thought in your mind. But like at the same time, I don't necessarily blame him for having that mindset because we're talking about a dude that from the age of 15, 16 years old was regarded as the chosen one. It was regarded as like the next savior of basketball. So in a sense, I do understand it from that standpoint of where he has to essentially compare himself to to Jordan because hey, that's the goal. I have to, and if my entire life people were telling me like, yo, you're the chosen one, you're gonna be the next greatest player of all time, you're gonna be the greatest player of all time when your career is said and done, I can understand why again he has that mindset.
Yeah, see that's what I was kind of saying because that's just kind of like I could see why he does that because like you said, since he was 16, he had to protect himself from that media type of overlooking that he's had on his life this whole time. So I could see him trying to control the story because since he was a kid, he had to protect himself. So that's what I said. Like LeBron on that aspect, I give him all the credit from what he dealt with since he was 16 years old. All the pressures, like every expectation that he had put on him, he surpassed it, brought his friends with him, and it's just great. Like even when I joke about the clutch conglomerate, even that is a whole different type of like major thing out there. So like for that, you got to give him respect. But it's just a certain things. It's just like, come on, bro, relax.
Honestly, so like while we're on the topic of LeBron, like we might as well get into the other comments relating to Kyrie Irving. So I don't remember exactly what he said. Do you though?
I I I think I got it a little bit of the quote, but I know a little to it. He was just like, I know basically he said it hurt him a little bit, bro. To be honest, he just said it, what Kyrie said about him hurt it because like he felt like all he wanted to see was Kyrie be an MVP that whole time during those 3 years they played together. Like he just wanted to see him grow and become the MVP player. And he said the energy wasn't matched or it wasn't received the right way. And he just said that the comments Kyrie said about the last second shot hurt him. That's basically what he said.
But even with that, like it kind of just goes back to like Kyrie's mentality. It's just like Kyrie's his own person, and that's how he sees himself. Like Kyrie, he really sees himself as like an individual.
And
Like you know what I mean?
that's kind of where it gets to that different level we're talking about where you're not at. Like Kyrie's cut from that Kobe cloth and Kobe's cut from that Mike cloth, and we just see the game a different way, bro. And that's just why they didn't really mess like that because Kyrie's not gonna be like, all right, LeBron, yeah, you, but I'm still Kyrie, bro. Like I'm still me. You're LeBron James, but I'm Kyrie Irving. I'm still that dude too, regardless, bro. That's like this quote I saw earlier this week. It was like it was Kobe, and it was on his documentary, and he was talking about how his rookie season, one of his teammates was like, "Yo, don't look Michael in his eyes when you play against him. Like, don't do it. Like, he gonna get you if you do that." And Kobe was like, "What you mean? Don't look him in the eyes? I'm him, bro. Like, what are you talking about? I'm that, bro. Like, I'm not afraid of that. We a man just like each other, bro." And Kyrie had that same type of mentality on the court, and I feel like LeBron kind of doesn't like that from his number two player, and I just feel like that's why they really didn't mesh.
And also like Bron and like when LeBron went to that Cleveland situation, he was looked to him as like, okay, this is the bona fide leader of this team now. And he was supposed to essentially just be again that bona fide leader, but also kind of just as what's the word I'm looking for? Back a little word, just a leader for that team. But like you said, but Kyrie being the person that he is, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, yeah, you're a great basketball player, but guess what? So am I. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need you like trying to like take me under your wing, so to say. Or it's like, yeah, I've been on bad teams this entire time I was on Cleveland, but I still put up numbers. I was still regarded as one of the best point guards in the league, despite that fact. You know, I was just like you before your teams got good. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like where I see it from that standpoint.
Yeah, it's just I feel like they gonna sit back like 10 years from now and all get over this and stuff now. But I feel like now this is just good storyline leading up to the seasons for the season when we get that Nets Lakers matchup throughout the season and hopefully we get in the finals, bro. So I think that's just all this really is up leading up to.
Right. So speaking of that, what are some like things are you looking up to because for the season? Because preseason starts literally tomorrow. We're recording this on a Thursday. So Friday, preseason games are going to start. The season starts in 12 days, which is crazy to say, considering we literally just saw the finals back in September?
Oh wow. October was the finals, and we have the season in 2 weeks, bro.
Yes. It's wild. It's nuts, fam. It's nuts, fam. Like, we're about to see KD back on the court, fam. We're about to see Steph back on the fucking court, bro. It's wow. But what are some things you're looking forward to?
Well, like you said, bro, I'm looking forward to opening night, bro. Lakers versus Clippers, bro. I just want to see those two match up again. I just want to see the energy. Trez on the Lakers now. I heard Marcus Morris coming talking crazy. He's like, damn, we got beat his ass now too. Like, it's a lot of talk on both sides. I want to see that ring night for the Lakers. I want to see AD get his ring, Bron get his fourth ring, all them Lakers get their rings. Like you said, I want to see my boy KD come back. I want to see my boy Steph come back. I'm just excited for the return of all the people who was out last year. I want to see Wall come back strong, see him and Boogie together. I want to see Bill and Westbrook, what they working with. I'm excited how CP and Devin Booker come. Like, I'm just excited, bro. As a basketball fan, like, I'm hyped, bro. And it's coming Christmas time. Like, it really can't be a more hype time right now, bro. Like, this is really lit right now.
As a basketball fan, like as a kid, like that still like loves basketball just around this time. Like, it's lit. It's fun.
Real, bro.
I think for me though, some of the things I've been like most anticipating, honestly, probably the entire Pelicans team, like just seeing what they are going to build off of the success that they've had late into the season. Because had there been no pause in the season, they probably would have made the playoffs as the 8th seed. And just seeing the next step Zion's going to take, as well as Ingram after getting that contract, see what he's going to look like now. Also with Ja too, him going into year 2, how he's going to be. And I heard this comparison, I forgot where, but he was like just one of those. He like was just one of those point guards. Was like an early like Rose or like an early like Westbrook. You know what I mean? Just one of those like electric guys that like that when you see him on the court, you're just gravitated him and you say, hey, this guy has it. So I say definitely those guys, and also Damian Lillard too, and the Portland Trailblazers, because they're still a dark horse in the West, and they can really make some noise.
Bro, hold up, bro. You brought up Dame, bro, and this just has me going back to that list we brought up earlier, bro. So the NBA, that NBA rankings list, bro, the one I talked about,
is a joke.
It's
a joke.
The one I talked about that had Bron and AD at number 1 and 2. I'm fine with that, bro. Those are top 2 dudes. They had an amazing season last year. Cool. Giannis 3, cool. That's good. But when we get to Luka at 4 and Kawhi at 5, and then we have Kevin Durant at 6, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what percentage that Kevin Durant is at. If he's at 70% ready to play, he's better than anybody but LeBron James. I'm sorry. If he's at 70%, he's better than anybody but LeBron James, bro. So regardless of how long he hasn't played, he should put in Luka Doncic above him, bro. That's disrespectful in my eyes, bro. Mm-hmm. And then when we get to number 7, bro, prisoners of the moment that we be in the media, bro. Stephen Curry is a 2-time MVP, 1-time unanimous MVP, 3-time NBA championship. And they have Damian Lillard, who had one hot bubble experience. 16 hot games in a bubble stretch. I love Damian Lillard. My guy had a hot playoff stretch in 2019 before he ran into Stephen Curry. And all of a sudden, he's ranked higher than Stephen Curry, who in their playoff career matchups, Stephen Curry leads the matchup currently 10-0. He's never defeated him. And now all of a sudden, he's better than him. So when I look at that list, I'm excited for the season. I hope Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry read that list and are ready to kill. And I expect both of them to be in the MVP race this year, heavily favorite in that race too.
Yeah, Curry's gonna go off this season. Honestly, like we're gonna see like a vintage like 2016, 2017 Curry year. That's gonna be great. And the same thing with KD, like you said, like 70-80%, he's still a top 5 player. Like he's a 7-footer that can pull it from anywhere on the court, can get to any spot on the court, and there's not a single person in this league that can guard him one-on-one. Like just flat out simple. And like I love Luka. Luka is probably like my favorite player in the league right now. He's talented. He's going to be special. He's going to be the face of the league in the next 10 years. But KD over Luka, like I'm picking KD. As much as I love Luka, I'm still picking KD. As much as I love Giannis, I'm still picking KD because at the end of the day, he's a killer, like you said. And yeah, he's may like be miss a step on the defensive end because it was Achilles injury. Excuse me, that was an Achilles injury, and that obviously is going to take some away from your defensive abilities. But still, at the end of the day, that's Kevin Durant that we're talking about.
At the end of the day, he's still gonna walk on the court and give you 30, and you not even notice it.
Like it's wild, man. That's wild. But transitioning now into NFL, gotta talk about that boy Carson Wentz. The Carson Wentz era in Philadelphia is looking like it might be over. Because this week, after the Eagles lost to the Packers, Doug Pearson has come out and announced that Jalen Hurts, my boy, is going to be starting against the Saints this week. So this is really kind of just a matter of time. I felt like they should have started Jalen probably 2 games earlier, honestly. Because at the end of the day, like, what are you really getting out of Carson Wentz? Because he leads the league in interceptions. He's been sacked the most times. He tries to play hero ball, but when he does, he just puts his team into just even worse situations than they already were. And so now if you're an Eagles fan, you're like, damn, where do we go from here? And honestly, it's looking like Carson is on the way
out. Bro. As a Carson Wentz fan, somebody who's bigged up Carson Wentz on this very podcast before, it's sad, and I'm in a tough position because, like, on one hand, you're right, Carson Wentz has been playing horrible, and it's time for them to shake it up. And I see why the Eagles have switched to Jalen Hurts, and I feel like, hey, yeah, give Jalen Hurts a chance against the best team in the division, in the conference, and see what he can do. Like, just throw him out there. Like, he can't do much better. I don't feel like they're putting Jalen Hurts in that much better of a situation. But just with Carson Wentz, I feel like he hasn't really been the same. I feel like his confidence was broken way before even the drafting of Jalen Hurts. I feel like his confidence was really broken back when they won the Super Bowl. Like, I never really saw that for a good thing for Carson Wentz in his career, because think about it, that year we talked about, that's the year everybody points back to as his highlight MVP season. And before he tore his ACL, he, like we said, he was the top leading the MVP race. He was killing the game, touchdowns, very low interception rate. And that team had a great defense, and they were on the pace to win the Super Bowl. And he got hurt. Nick Foles came in, filled that role. And in that story of that Super Bowl, Nick Foles is always going to be the quarterback that's related to that Super Bowl win. It's never going to be Carson Wentz's win. He was never going to have that real, oh, this is my Super Bowl ring story, because he didn't play in the game. And I feel like him coming back, he always felt that over his back, and he really could never live up to it. And he's just always been like, oh, let me go prove that I'm worth this contract that they gave me, and go prove that I would have won that Super Bowl too. And Nick Foles shouldn't be here, and they should trade him to Chicago. And, oh, now I got Nick Foles traded. And now, oh, I'm playing good, but we don't have receivers this season. But hey, we still made the playoffs this year. But now they drafted a quarterback and he couldn't handle that pressure. And now that's what we saw this season. I just feel like it was a culmination of two major mental defeats that he faced that's really causing what we saw on the field right now.
It's an unfortunate situation, especially for a Eagles fan, because this is a guy, like you said, that he came out and proved to be like why he was one of the top picks in that draft for a reason. Like people pegged him as like, hey, this is going to be our guy for like the next 10 years. Had analysts come out and say like, yeah, no, I would pick Carson Wentz as my franchise quarterback for the next 10 years over Jared Goff, and I did too, most definitely at that time. But like you said, it's just when your confidence is at a low point, there's only so much that you could really do, and he's been playing bad. It's not just on him. This entire Eagles season has been rough. They haven't had a stable offensive line. Their offensive weapons have been not even subpar. They've been below average this entire season. So it's all those culminations, and obviously people and fans are going to look to point to someone. So they're either going to point to the head coach or they're going to point to Carson Wentz. And in this case, it kind of seems like both right now, because Doug Peterson came out that, yeah, he's on the hot seat right now, depending on how this season finishes. And even if they do make the playoffs, do you really feel confident in another season of Doug Peterson as your head coach if you're an Eagles fan? Let's be real.
I feel like this situation does end with Doug Peterson losing his job at the end of the season, because I feel like realistically the Eagles have too much money invested in Carson Wentz right now, and I feel like Lori, the owner's just gonna really like, all right, we just gotta try this again, get a new coach that can hopefully boost his confidence, boost his esteem, and they're gonna try to get some pieces in the draft. Probably get Chase out of LSU, a nice wide receiver. Don't pass up on a good wide receiver this year, and hopefully Carson Wentz could bounce back. But I feel like in this case, they're gonna go with Wentz because they just have too much money tied in that situation.
But do you think there's a situation where Wentz could potentially be traded? Because I do think that's realistically on the table. I really do. Depending on how, because in my opinion, I feel like Eagles, no matter what happens, I feel like they should start Jalen for the rest of the year. That's honestly how I feel. Because let's just see where he's at. Let's see where both our quarterbacks are at right now. Because you've had a season and a half of what Carson Wentz is post ACL injury. Now let's see what 5-6 games Jalen has. Let's see and just reevaluate in the all season and see, okay, do we want to continue with Wentz or do we want to still have Jalen as our backup? That's ultimately how I see things.
Yeah, I agree, because I feel like regardless of the problem, not just Wentz, so regardless of Jalen is not going to go there and save the world. So regardless of what you're going to see, it's going to be the same problems there. It's still going to be a trash offensive line and not many weapons on the offensive outside. So it's just going to be, here, Jalen, do what you could do. And like we already said, Jalen doesn't have a better arm than Carson Wentz. So he's not going to add really anything much more, probably athletically, he can, to the field that Carson Wentz can do. So it's just going to be this pretty much same situation. So I feel like it's just going to come down to somebody has to go here. And I feel like what team is really going to want to take on Carson Wentz after what he's shown this whole season? And I feel like the Eagles are going to be stuck with that and have to rebuild around that. Because like I don't see a team wanting to trade on that huge contract for a guy who's not going to be producing at the level of what the contract looks.
I feel that, but the only reason why I bring that up is because of Indiana and Frank Reich being their head coach. And Frank Reich was the assistant during that Super Bowl run Philly was on, and during the same season, Carson Wentz was the MVP. So potentially maybe, and for Carson, you're looking at it, hey, it's a fresh start in Indiana. It's a better team. I've worked with this coach before. It's a better offensive line. There's a defense there that can hold up, very similar to what Philly was back a couple of years ago. So potentially that could be a landing spot. I don't know. Of course, we're going to see.
Yeah, I like that for him. Just to get out the Philly media aspect and just get away from that criticism. Just a fresh start in that standpoint. If the Colts are willing to take on that trade, take on that money, then yeah, that works.
Because honestly, I feel like they could, because it's kind of it's always going to be a risk, but the potential payout is actually very high. because you're sitting there in the AFC South, which is a rough division in itself, because we still don't know what the Texans are going to look like. We know the Jaguars are going to be bad for the next 2 or 3 seasons, and we really don't know what Tennessee is going to look like, because they seem like a mediocre team right now going forward. So there's a realistic chance where if you can get, let's say, 80% of what Carson was back in 2017 to win that division and actually make a run in the playoffs potentially.
I like it. I'm all for my boy Wentz getting a new fresh start, bro. So either way, him getting a new coach with the Eagles, some new personnel in there, or him going to a new team, I'm all for it, bro.
But let me ask you a question. This is something that we didn't discuss, but we both were watching this game. Of course, I'm talking about the Jets-Raiders game, where we almost fumbled the number 1 pick. First of all, shout out to Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs jersey's on the way. But how did you feel about Greg Williams getting
fired? I feel like for success, everybody needs a sacrificial lamb at time. And I feel like Greg Williams just played that role for us. And in the story of Trevor Lawrence 10, 15 years down the line, we're going to all remember that play and just be like, yo, Greg Williams, thank you for that, bro. Like, for that alone, story alone, you should have a statue out in front of MetLife, bro. Because when Trevor Lawrence is in that Jets jersey for the next 10 years, we're going to appreciate that, bro. So, honestly, it's a lot of, everybody in the media knows what it was. It was a tank job. Like, the whole world knows it was a tank job, bro. And I feel like the NFL sooner or later is going to have to address this situation and kind of punish teams for set the draft up in a way so this doesn't permit itself anymore. Like the NBA kind of tries to do it, so at least a lottery standpoint, like, so you're not guaranteed the number 1 pick just based off your standings. But y'all can change it after we get Trevor, but right now we got it how it is. So for these last 4 games, we're gonna tank. So that's how I'm on it right now, bro. Like, I salute Greg Williams for what he did. like I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm a Clemson fan.
Right. No, and that's exactly how I feel about it too. Honestly, like, now, did he deserve to get fired? No, I don't think so. It's like, why are you gonna fire a guy when there's only 4 games left in the season? Like, you could have waited realistically till the end of the season if you really wanted to. But
Adam Gase just wanted to get his shit off one more time before he's out at the end of the season, bro. We all know he hated Greg Williams, bro. So that's what that was,
bro. It was like, fam, like, you're out the door too. Like you're like Greg Williams is sitting at the crib right now, but like, yeah, Adam may be laughing, but guess what? He's gonna be in the same position I am, like, in a couple more weeks. So yeah, keep laughing, buddy. Like, fam, like, y'all gonna be in the same situation. And honestly, like, Greg Williams is probably gonna end up like on another NFL coaching staff. Like, he probably will. Adam Gase, after this is over, fam. This is over for you. And honestly, I hope he never coaches again. I hope he never coaches football at any type of level ever again. I don't care if it's Pop Warner. I don't care if it's middle school. God, no, hell no for high school and college. Hell no, fam. Just take your money. You made millions and just sit your ass on the couch, fam, and just chill. I never want to see you on a sideline ever again.
Ever again, bro. Hit the road, Jack, and don't come back.
Like, bro. I'm really mad at the fact that we really gave him a chance. And the fact that, like, bro, it's like like, we've seen time, like, you just see the statistics of where, like, all of his team rank in offensive rating. Like, yeah, like, the only good years he had Peyton Manning and a private Mayo Sanders and Demarius Thomas, man.
An established Peyton Manning, who was already an offensive guru, an MVP how many times over before he got to Adam Gase, bro. This is not a Peyton Manning back in 99. Like,
Yo, Adam Gase never coached football again. That's all I gotta say, honestly. But moving on from that, let's get into the culture now. You want to bring up this point? We mentioned him early in this podcast before, but Lil Baby, he's kind of going through a whole media fiasco right now. I know some of it. You're more informed about it, so let the people know what's going on right now.
Bro, I really don't want to get too much into it. I just want to say that we might be getting a classic rap album on the way soon, bro. Because if this causes some relationship issues, if we don't know, Lil Baby got outed by adult star Miss London over the past week. He got outed by her for trying to pay for a sexual exchange, and the whole internet exploded because he was trying to cheat on his girlfriend. It was memes. Everything took over, bro. But if we thought Offset and what Offset did to get his girl back was wild, we don't know. We don't know what Little Baby has in store for us, man. Little Baby, first of all, he's put together one of the greatest rap years in rap history this year, and one of the hardest years to do it in. If we want to talk about that, we're gonna talk about that in the weeks to come. How what Little Baby this year can really be put up against a lot of hardest in rap history. But aside from that, bro, he has the chance to double back and release an album that has the energy of a close friends, that has the energy of emotionally scarred. He has a chance to double back and release an album of this type of magnitude to, to gather the energy surrounding this moment and talk on it. And the whole world will listen right now. That's why I'm excited right now. That's why I don't want Baby to talk too much on his Twitter. He released some tweets last night saying, "Hey, I'm a man. I would never do those type of things." I was like, don't do the Offset route on this one. We need you to go put this pain into an album, bro. Because the stuff you can talk about can change this whole tricking culture. I feel like for right now, bro. It can have an impact and show ladies like Miss London that she messed up, and show ladies that look up to people like Jada, Lil Baby's girlfriend, that hey, men are gonna do whatever they want, and this girl that y'all look up to is gonna take him back every time. On the ultimate toxic tip, bro. That's what he has a chance to do right now, bro. That's just why I wanted to bring it up.
So real quick, you brought up this point, like, and you've been alluding to it for some time now, but like, why do certain females right now in this culture look up to the Aries, the Jadas, and just the other like rappers' baby mothers right now? Like, why is that really a thing right now?
I don't know, bro. I don't know when this became a trend. I guess it started with the love and hip hop fiasco of the world, the love and hip hop Instagram introduction type of thing to the world, Fashion Nova model thing. But yeah, like people look up to baby mamas like Ari and Jada and stuff. And I just feel like, why are we looking up to these women? What do they have to offer to the culture? What are they adding to the culture? What can they do? They're promoting a club, they can sell clothes. Like, okay, that's cool. If you have a business, a clothing line like Milano, okay, cool, you're doing something, you're adding something to the culture, but you're just famous because you got pregnant by this rapper. No, that's not something we should be boosting. And then now we see situations like where Ari is now a witness in a case against G Herbo. And now this girl that we boosted up now is in a situation where she can put him away from some serious time. And it's like, you see who we're boosting up. These girls don't have the right intentions. And I just want for us on both sides, for women, like, yo, don't look up to these women because they're not showing you everything. They're not really what a real woman is out here. And I'm showing this to the fellas. Hey, don't go after. Yeah, they might look the baddest, but these are not the girls you want. These girls that's, oh, I need a Birkin bag, or we can't even talk. These are not the ones that are gonna offer value into your life, offer value into your soul, like on that type of tip. And that's just why I wanted to bring it up, bro. And I feel like in this situation is highlighted, and this has the moment to be like, yo, on both sides, ladies, if you see Jada's been happy her whole life. She's been happy this whole year, and still Baby went to go cheat on her. She bought him all that stuff for her birthday, and still he was still valuing something else. So just even what y'all looking up to, what it's still at the end of the day, he's gonna do what he wants to do. So why even look up to that? That's what I just wanted to show people with this. And I feel like this situation on a major level, being the biggest artist and the biggest girl they look up to, shows, hey, maybe this situation and the minor scale in everyday life is something we should do.
Right, but and I'm glad that you did bring it up because it is kind of an important topic of conversation right now within our culture because we don't want to get to a point where that shit becomes normalized, like at all. Because like you said, like these are not the type of women that have real substance to them. You know what I mean? Like looks are only here; they're only temporary. They're only going to be here for so long, and once you don't have that anymore, once you don't look as good as you do, or you decide to go get more work done on you later on in life, guys are gonna realize and look at you like, "What are you doing?" And for guys, they're gonna be put in that situation like, "Yo, what was I doing for even trying to get myself involved with you?" Or now I'm in a situation where I am involved with you now, and it's like I regret it now because I was young, I was stupid, and I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. And like you said, it's like just for guys and for girls, like just be careful about who you look up to and like honestly, like really assess like where your values are at. Not where other people's values are at, but where your values are at and what you actually look up to. I think is another part of that conversation as well.
Yeah, because you might align in some points that whoever you look up to, but their thoughts that they put out in their music and what they put on social media is probably not what they're really doing in real life and how they really living. And then when that get exposed, it's like, oh my gosh, I follow all they tips, all they I bought they this book, that book, and that. I bought their calendar, they self-help, all this, and they don't even live by these tips. I'm following their workout plan, and they got their whole body done in Colombia. Like like y'all
Like that part right there, yeah. It's like we're like for like a lot of people, this goes for everybody. Like we are so quick to fall in love with the facade and just the lie of everything else. And part of it has to do with social media because we want to promote this image of ourselves. We want to promote this picture perfect image of ourselves. When reality is like, no, it's like at the end of the day, none of us are perfect. All of us are gonna have our flaws. So just realize that, be accepting of that, and then you're actually able to move forward from that. And again, it goes back to looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing what you really are. And that's really all like what it comes down to in a sense. But nah. So recording this on Thursday, so we won't have a New Music Friday, but something that is releasing later tonight that I've been anticipating since I was 15 years old. Kid Cudi Man on the Moon 3 is releasing at midnight. I cannot wait. He has a Lil Baby feature, always positive. He has 18 songs on it. I am just ecstatic about it. I am super excited. I just it can't get here fast enough into my phone, honestly.
Yeah, bro. We getting two Lil Baby features that we on the lookout for tonight, bro. Jack Harlow dropping tonight, bro. And I saw a Lil Baby feature on that, so I'm peeping out from that. But yeah, we Cuddy, bro. He's one of those influential type of dudes. He's one of the main reasons for the sound we got today. So him dropping this album is gonna be major. So yeah, I'm up for that tonight, bro. And yeah, it's excitement right now, bro.
Right. And I'm also looking forward to that Jack Harlow album too, because he has also had a great like 2 years as far as a rapper as well too. Like quietly on the come up now, he capitalized on what was popping. Now he's about to capitalize it again with this album. He has this song with Big Sean that just released yesterday. Heard a few seconds of that. It sounds really good. And overall, like it's good. It's gonna be, I think, a good music drop tonight.
Yeah, bro. Even on even though it is not Friday, I did get a little nice midweek drop that I've been listening to. It's from
Mhm.
Rory, an artist off Meek Mill's label, Dream Chaser label, bro. And it's a hard album right now. And he definitely got a song that is and probably might be in one of my top 5 songs of this year right now, bro. Ain't It Funny featuring Meek Mill, bro. That's a song, bro. If you haven't listened to it, I advise y'all to go check that out, bro. But Rory's definitely one of those up and coming artists that we should check out in R&B, bro.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually surprised that he released the project. I heard a couple of singles he put out, I think like a last year or 2 years ago. So he was like just below under my radar. But and I was actually surprised to see him actually release a project. You were actually when I saw your story, that's when I found out about. I'm like, oh shit, you released a project. I gotta listen to this now because of what I listen to. He got it. Like he is something that like, excuse me, he is someone that can definitely can claim his stake right now in the game right now as an artist. All right. And with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up. Anything more you want to
Yeah. Nah, bro, that's it, bro.
add? All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Recommend this podcast to somebody that you love. That would be greatly appreciated. And we'll catch you on the next one.